You left a man who loved you. Not because he hurt you, not because he cheated, not because he lied. You left because his love felt too quiet, too steady, too boring. And now you're lying awake wondering if you made the biggest mistake of your life. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes we don't recognize real love because it doesn't look like the movies. It doesn't come with drama or chaos. It just shows up every day, quietly. And maybe that's exactly what you walked away from. You know that feeling when someone's kindness starts to feel ordinary, like their love is too easy. When the man who used to make your heart skip a beat now just feels like furniture, reliable furniture, always there when you need it. But somehow that stopped being enough. Here's what's really happening in your brain. Your mind is wired to notice new things, fresh things, exciting things. But consistency, your brain treats that like background noise. It's called hedonic adaptation. You get used to good treatment the same way you get used to living near train tracks. After a while, you don't even hear the trains anymore. His morning coffee delivery stops registering as love. It just becomes Tuesday. This is the trap that catches so many women. We start craving chaos because it feels more real than stability. Drama triggers our nervous system. It makes us feel alive. But peace? Peace feels like nothing is happening. Your brain interprets calm as boring. It mistakes safety for settling. And before you know it, you're wondering if real love is supposed to feel like this. Think about it. The man who brings you coffee every morning stops feeling romantic after month 3. The gesture becomes routine, expected. The one who listens to your work problems without trying to fix them starts feeling predictable. You know exactly what he'll say, how he'll react, where he'll sit when you need to vent. His reliability becomes invisible. Scientists have studied this. Our brains are hardwired to notice novelty and ignore consistency. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. New things could be threats or opportunities, but consistent things, they're just there. Even when that consistency serves us better than any amount of excitement ever could. Even when it's exactly what we asked for in our prayers. Meanwhile, social media floods your feed with power couples. Instagram shows you men who command attention at parties. TikTok serves up alpha energy and dominant personalities. Your quiet love suddenly looks weak next to all that noise. His gentle nature seems passive. His thoughtfulness feels boring compared to the flashy gestures you see online. Dating coaches make millions selling the lie that real men must dominate rooms and drip ambition. They tell you to look for leaders, alphas, men who take charge and make things happen. Your steady, consistent man doesn't fit that mold. He doesn't need to be the loudest voice in the room. He doesn't need to prove his worth through status or success. But the world tells you that's exactly what you should want. You start comparing. Your friends talk about their boyfriends' careers, their expensive gifts, their bold personalities. You look at your man and see someone who prefers quiet nights in, someone who values connection over conquest, someone who shows love through small, daily acts instead of grand gestures. And suddenly, that feels like not enough. The dating advice industry profits from your dissatisfaction. They sell you the idea that settling for peace means settling for less. That comfort equals complacency. That if your relationship doesn't feel like a constant adventure, you're doing it wrong. They teach you to look for red flags in green flag behavior, to question stability, to want more, always more. But here's what nobody tells you about chasing that upgrade. You start looking at genuine love through the lens of everything it's not. You measure his quiet strength against someone else's loud confidence. You compare his steady presence to another man's flashy absence. You judge his consistent actions against someone else's empty promises. You miss what's actually there because you're searching for what you think should be there. The man who remembers your coffee order becomes ordinary. The one who calls when he says he will becomes predictable. The one who stays calm during your storms becomes boring. You stop seeing these as love languages. You start seeing them as bare minimum, as not enough, as reasons to look elsewhere. You begin to confuse peace with passion. You think real love should feel like a roller coaster, up and down, exciting and terrifying. You forget that some of the deepest connections feel like coming home, like exhaling, like finally being able to rest. The tragedy isn't that you're hard to please. It's that you've been taught to distrust the very thing you've been looking for. You've been conditioned to see stability as stagnation, consistency as compromise, reliability as settling. And love? Real love gets lost in the noise of everything you think it should be instead. Which brings us to the question that haunts you at 3 a.m. when you're lying in bed alone, wondering if you threw away the best thing that ever happened to you. The biggest tragedy isn't losing someone who hurt you. It's losing someone who loved you quietly while you were listening for fireworks. You walked away from warmth because you wanted sparks. You left consistency because you craved chaos. You chose the unknown over the known. And now you're wondering if you made the biggest mistake of your life. Before you chase the next spark, ask yourself this question. Are you running toward love or away from peace? Are you looking for a partner or searching for problems to solve? Real love doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just shows up every day, waiting for you to notice. Here's the thing no one warns you about. Fireworks fade, passion cools, and eventually, life will strip away the noise. When that happens, when you're sick, when you fail, when the world feels like it's falling apart, it won't be the man who made your heart race that holds you together. It'll be the one who made your coffee, the one who stayed, the one who was always there. So before you call what you had boring, ask yourself, was it really boring? Or was it everything you prayed for, disguised as peace? Some women spend the rest of their lives chasing the high they left home to find, only to realize too late they had love. But they didn't recognize it until it was gone. So I'm asking you, if you've ever walked away from someone who loved you quietly, if you've ever mistaken consistency for complacency, if you're lying awake at night wondering if you made a mistake, tell your story in the comments. You never know who might be reading it. Your honesty might save them from the regret you're still carrying, because sometimes the loudest heartbreak, it is the one that never made a sound.